What is it about an amp that you love, be it whatever it is, that you love about it? What does it do?
Attack. That's the first thing that I care about. Amplifiers that are wussy. No, I'm serious. That have front ends like wet toilet paper.
Those kind. Yeah.
It's the attack is as a guitar player.
How it responds to you. Right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
it's when you speak, when you phrasing, whether it's in speaking in a human voice or playing an instrument, that's what phrasing is all about, is how you say it. It's not so much sometimes the vocabulary, it's the way that you string the words together or the way that you string the notes together. And an opening statement, the thing that people remember most when you speak is usually the first thing that comes out of your mouth. That's the attack of the instrument. So if the attack isn't there, to me, it's kind of like playing catch-up for the rest of the session.
Yeah.
Hey, so you know what though? Seriously, talking about what Jeff was saying, the clean sound, like. I mean, that is just like, that's responsive.
So you couldn't do that with an amp that had a wet toilet paper front end.
No,
because what you're doing.
Is that a technical term?
Because all the dynamics are in the way that you're.
That's it.
In the amount of attack and the amount of touch, you can't get that out of most amplifiers.
Exactly.
So they've got these tube amps, and then they were solid-state amps, right? And and there were a lot of different early solid-state amps. I think of the the Vox Super Beetle. You mentioned the Burn stuff, and a lot of them got it right, but a lot of them were really just looking for ways to make stuff cheap. You know what I mean? And to me, like one of the first breakthroughs, and what a lot of people are surprised by this, but those of us who were like really digging on like a JC120 back then, like whether it was the Police or a lot of the you mentioned church bands, and all that kind of stuff. I know you were a big user of it's
a huge
like,
fan.
It was like, again, so
it's the closest thing I could get to playing out of directly into the console.
It's so true. Yeah. Right now, I have one of my rigs set up at a studio down the street here, the Track Record. One of the great room that we all played at, right? Sure. So I have my, hot rodded, customized thingy, and I have another thingy here, a vintage thingy, And what's sitting in the middle is the JC120. And the way I tell the producers about it today, even though it might not be like the most modern thing, when they say, yeah, man, I need that Prince sound. As soon as they say it, because that's that clean, it gives you that attack. It's like plugging into the board with a good preamp. It really is, man. So for me, that's a great way to describe it. It's that clean, funky, thwacky.
Well, plus you can set your effects so that you know what the Prince sound is. You know what all the sounds are. If you're fighting the amplifier, then you just go round and round and round.
The telephone itself is nothing remotely like what a telephone was 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 25 years ago. So to someone who doesn't care anything about a telephone, they say, oh, I have an old telephone, I have a new telephone. Telephone, right? In my mind, that's what this is about, right? So you have an amp, and inside that amp is some indeterminate stuff that allows you to play guitar through it, right? And over the years, other things have gone inside of it. And it performs a certain function that is, so we call it ampness, right? And
ampness, I like that.
So I'm not so concerned about what's in it. I don't care what's in my phone. I can pick it up and I can call home, right? And I don't really care so much about what's in my amp as long as it gives me what I want. Now, in the past, that was only deliverable by one format.
What fascinates me about this is everybody's going, let's redesign the Western Electric Circuit. Let's redesign
it's 1948
the 1948 RCA passive tone circuit. Like, oh, that's really okay. And I'm not putting it down, but to me, that's kind of walking backwards. What about modeling amplifiers that don't exist, or what about taking the best of the amp models that you like and combining them in such a way as you get something different? But the idea of modeling combinations of amplifiers that nobody's ever tried before and coming up with something new and different that still keep some of the basic things that you already like, but don't limit you to the things that you already like, and be able to mix them together. That's fascinating with this. Those boys spent a lot of time working that out, and I can't tell you how to do it. To me, part of the fun is the discovery part of it. But the nice thing about it is there's a whole lot to discover in this amplifier.
Hey, did you guys check out what's really cool is you can plug it in to the channel switcher right here, to the expression pedal part. They have one for volume and one for drive. So actually, I'm going to get two because I want volume, and then I'll just put a piece of gaff tape, volume, drive, so you know, bam. So you don't even have to deal with the amp. I mean, you get the beautiful, you know.
That's cool.
You know.
You know what?
For that pedal steel stuff, too. Ooh, you know, I mean.
Gotta get you a B-bender.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So, I mean, I like that. And then, of course, you can do the same thing, but with the drive. We set it here, so we start soft. But, I mean,